Yeah, you're watching an AI avatar. But before you scroll, the two stories dropping in this clip are so wildly different that no human anchor even had time to process them properly. One's about Iran closing the strait again. The other is about a war veteran who says a psychedelic saved his life, and Trump just signed an executive order about it. Stay with me. Both of these matter.
The strait, even firing at ships trying to cross it. President Trump reacting to that just moments ago.
They got a little cute, as they have been doing for 47 years. We're talking to them. They wanted to close up the strait again, as they've been doing for years, and they can't blackmail us.
Let's get to Matt Finn. He is live in Dubai with why Iran suddenly...
Trump announced the Strait of Hormuz was open, celebrated it, posted about it, and it didn't even last 24 hours. Iran closed it again, fired on a ship, and in the same broadcast, a Medal of Honor recipient just told Fox News that a drug he took in Mexico saved his life. And Trump signed an executive order about it today. This is one news segment. Let's get into it.
Open, and now an intelligence official tells our Trey Yingst that the Iranian regime has closed the strait again. That intelligence official saying the Strait of Hormuz is under full IRGC control and effectively closed at this moment. Multiple vessels have been forced to turn around since this morning as they attempted to pass through the strait. The IRGC opened fire on at least one vessel as part of the closure policy they declared last night. Now, yesterday, around this hour, President Trump and Iranian foreign minister announced that the strait is open. But shortly afterwards, Iranian officials started to post that Iran was maintaining restrictions to pass through the strait, including payments. And also here in the Middle East, Israel's IDF claims the 10-day ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon is not solid either. The IDF posting Hezbollah ceasefire violation. Since the ceasefire came into effect, IDF soldiers south of the Yellow Line and
They got a little cute. That's the President of the United States describing Iran firing on commercial ships in one of the world's most critical waterways. A little cute. I don't know if that's the most unbothered response to an international incident I've ever heard or the most calculated. Because think about what he's doing, he's shrinking it. He's making Iran sound like a child misbehaving at the dinner table, not a regime that just fired on vessels in a global shipping lane. And the 47 years line, that's actually the real message buried in there. He's saying this is nothing new. We've seen this before. We're not rattled. Whether that's true or he's just performing calm. Iran is watching that clip right now. And so is every shipping company with vessels sitting outside that's straight wondering if their cargo moves tomorrow or not.
Don't kid ourselves on that. Iran wants a deal. We want a deal. We want to get this done without having to, escalate this any further. I fully expect this to go back and forth. This is what Iran does. They're all about misinformation campaigns. They're all about taking it back, pushing forward. You can't trust them. This is nothing that's new, right? But look, here's what is hopeful. I'm hopeful that we're going to get to a deal here pretty soon. We have a president in place who the world obviously knows is going to, uphold what he says he's going to do, especially when it comes to this aspect of it. He's proven that over and over. So, look, I think we're in a good spot right now. I think that this is like maybe a minor setback. But what I think the bigger part of this is when we're looking at this peace talk with Lebanon and other places like that, yeah. I think that, what's really going to be instrumental in the secondary and tertiary effects of what we've done with Iran is that, we have taken away Hezbollah's top cover from Iran, so I think there's other aspects of this where we're really going to start getting some real peace deals, and there's a lot of opportunity for that.
What about ground troops? Democrats are out there.
Did you catch that detail? Iran is reportedly demanding payments to let ships pass through the strait. That's not a military blockade. That's a toll booth. That's a shakedown. You want to move your oil through here? Pay up. And this happened within 24 hours of Trump and Iran's own foreign minister jointly announcing the strait was open. Both sides announced it, together. And then Iran went right back to closing it before the ink was even dry. Here's the thing that nobody's saying: this might actually be negotiating tactics. Iran knows the ceasefire expires in days. They close the strait, create pressure, go back to the table with more leverage. It's chaotic, but it's not random. There's a pattern here if you watch long enough. But those ships sitting out there waiting, that chaos is very real for them.
Iranian Navy?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the smartest thing that the president has done in this administration and Secretary of War is they haven't laid out their objectives so that the enemy knows exactly what we're trying to get to and, wait us out to see that we're going to leave in order to start back up, right? Like, they have no clue. We have no clue as on the ground as Americans right now of exactly what we are trying to accomplish. We have like broad strokes of this, but I think it gives, our administration leverage to be able to follow through on things. What I hate getting into and I hate seeing is every problem with what the president is doing. It's all about hypotheticals. I just hear people bringing up hypotheticals. Well, we're going to do this or we're going to do this. We haven't done that. He hasn't shown us doing that yet. He hasn't even talked about doing that yet. I mean, right. Obviously, he is putting all of the options on the table, which is what is smart in any deal, right? He's getting himself ready to go in case he needs to do that. But what I do think is the best thing we have going is we have a president that doesn't want war. We have a leader up there who doesn't want war and who will do everything that he has to keep from, going to war. But I mean, if he has to do it, he's willing to do it, right?
Unfortunately, we'll have to start dropping bombs again. Unfortunately. The most casual deployment of the word unfortunately I have ever witnessed in political history. Said it like he was talking about traffic on the highway. Like, yeah, unfortunately it's raining today. Unfortunately, we'll have to resume aerial bombardment of Iranian infrastructure. But strip away the delivery, and what he actually said is significant. He's not extending the ceasefire automatically. He's not committed to peace talks continuing. He's saying deal by Wednesday or the blockade stays and the bombs come back. That's a hard deadline. 5 days. And Iran just spent today closing a strait they promised to keep open. The clock is running, and I'm not sure either side has fully decided what they actually want yet.
A federal review of psychedelics for PTSD. Here he is. Let's listen.
It directs the FDA to expedite their review of certain psychedelics already designated as breakthrough therapy drugs. In many cases, these experimental treatments have shown life-changing potential for those suffering from severe mental illness and depression, including our cherished veterans. Our veterans are having a tremendous hard time.
Dakota, I remember you had really severe PTSD.
Here's a guy who actually fought. Boots on ground. Medal of Honor. And he's the calmest person in this entire broadcast. He's not panicking about the strait closing. He's saying, yeah, this is what Iran does. Has always done. Push, pull, test, retreat. It's a pattern. And his point about Trump not laying out specific objectives is actually interesting. Most administrations telegraph exactly what they want. Iran knows the finish line, figures out how to drag it out, waits America out. Trump's keeping the endgame vague, which either gives him maximum flexibility or means nobody actually knows what success looks like here. Both are possible, simultaneously. Welcome to 2025.
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I won't extend it. Okay. But the blockade is going to remain. But maybe I won't extend it. So you have a blockade, and unfortunately we'll have to start dropping bombs again.
So we had these two major announcements, the ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon.
Stop right there, because this is the part that actually deserves more attention than it got. Democrats are raising ground troops as a hypothetical. Meyer's response is basically stop arguing about things that haven't happened yet. And he's not wrong. Every single conflict gets buried under hypotheticals before anything even occurs. But here's the thing, hypotheticals exist because nobody's telling us the actual plan. The administration deliberately isn't publishing objectives. So the vacuum gets filled with speculation. That's not media bias. That's just what happens when information is withheld. Nature hates a vacuum, and so does a 24-hour news cycle.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I seen this as I was driving to the studio, and Congressman Luttrell, absolutely saved my life. He's been a big advocate on this. I mean, seeing the guys that are standing, Brian Hubbard in there, seeing the guys who have been the pioneers of trying to get this legislatively to where we don't have to send our men and women who have fought for this country or really, this is going to be an extension. It's way bigger than just veterans. I mean, this is about healing America. It's about healing the world and healing the globe. And I went down there. I was a skeptic of it. I literally remember calling Congressman Luttrell before going down there and saying, this is not going to work. I've tried everything, and really just almost out of options of trying to balance, what I had, was I going to come home and be a victim of my own service because I couldn't find treatment that was going to absolutely help me while trying to be a parent, right? And so I went down there in 2019. And it absolutely changed my life. It absolutely saved my life. I mean, if you go look at me before I went down there versus I just re-enlisted back in the military, I'm back serving, I'm back doing what I love. I'm becoming and being every single day. I have the ability to focus on being the best version of myself. This is a drug. This is a medicine. I hate saying the word drug, but this is a medicine that is truly hopeful and giving back people the life that they are looking to have.
Can you just explain to people at home, that don't know anything about this, the first time they're hearing about it, what that experience was like when you took it? Because I remember you told Joe Rogan it changed your soul. What did it feel like?
Yeah, it's not like a high. It wasn't something. I'd taken plenty of medications before. Trying to go through the American protocol, whatever you could call it, of trying to heal mental health. But it wasn't like a numbing. The best way for me to describe it, it was like an internal counseling session for you to be able to process, face, and file, what you had gone through and make sense of it in order for you to have the ability to move forward, right? For me, it was, I did Ibogaine and then I did 5-MeO-DMT behind it. And, it wasn't easy, but it was me being able to face it wasn't like the symptoms, it was more of me being able to go in deep, get past my consciousness and see what subconsciously was in me that was causing me to have this. I had severe anxiety. Anxiety was the symptom that I had the worst. I mean, to the point where I was sleeping in my car multiple nights a week. My daughters never even seen me sleep. I would never sleep around them because I never wanted them to see that side of me until after 2019. And so, it was hard, but it was like I went down for a weekend in 2019, and after that I came back, and I literally, when I say I haven't had an ounce of anxiety since, I haven't.
Wow. That's a testament. I mean, that's a testimony right there. It feels like a very exciting time.
Okay, full pivot. Because this is genuinely one of the more surprising policy moves I've seen in a while, and it got completely buried under the Iran coverage. Trump signed an executive order fast-tracking FDA review of psychedelics for PTSD. Not marijuana. Not conventional therapy. Psychedelics. Substances that have been Schedule I controlled drugs for decades. And the FDA had already designated some of them as breakthrough therapies, meaning the science was already pointing somewhere interesting. Trump just pushed the accelerator. The veteran suicide rate in this country is staggering. 22 a day is the number that gets cited most often. If there's a treatment that actually works and it's been sitting in bureaucratic limbo because of decades-old drug war stigma, that's worth taking seriously regardless of your politics. A Medal of Honor recipient, sleeping in his car, because his anxiety was so severe, he wouldn't let his daughters see him sleep. That hit different. And he went to Mexico because he couldn't get this treatment legally in America. Had to leave the country. Came back a different person. Re-enlisted. That's not an anecdote. That's an indictment of the system that made him leave in the first place. Ibogaine is not a party drug. It's not recreational. It's a serious substance with serious effects and serious research backing it for trauma treatment. The fact that it took this long to even have this conversation at the federal level while veterans were dying is the real story here. And here's what I'll say, this is one of those rare moments where the policy and the human story actually align perfectly. The man sitting on that Fox News set is living proof of what this executive order is about. That doesn't happen often in politics. Usually the policy and the reality are miles apart. Two completely different stories. One broadcast. Both actually matter. Iran closed the strait again within 24 hours of opening it. Ceasefire expires in days. Trump says maybe he won't extend it. The bombs are on standby. And nobody, not Iran, not the US, not the analysts, seems totally certain how this ends. And then in the same segment, a war hero described sleeping in his car because his PTSD was that bad. Flew to Mexico for a treatment he couldn't get at home. Came back healed. And today, Trump signed an order that might make that treatment available to every veteran who needs it without leaving the country. One story is about a crisis with no clear ending. The other is about something that might actually help people. Which one do you think deserves more of our attention right now? Tell me in the comments.